Scott Ratliff, next to him Jack Runkel, and in between Eric Lusby. He is the NCAA tournament record holder, 4 goals in a tournament with 17, and tournament most outstanding player. Media members, you know the drill. We'll start with an opening statement from our head coach. We'll take questions for our student athletes, let them get back to their team, and then we'll follow up with Coach Toomey. Coach?
I thought Saturday was a pretty cool day for the Greyhounds. Today's special. For our alumni, for our past presidents, for our current president, for Joe Boylan, for Jim Paquette, Dr. Susan Donovan, people that have supported us for so many years to allow this team to be what it is. I'm just so happy for those people. My hat's off. It's bittersweet for me. A close friend is in that other locker room, and I've been in that other locker room before. I want to give Maryland a lot of credit for a well-played game and obviously a terrific season. Again, when I look at my locker room, I'm just so proud of them. They've handled every situation with dignity and class this year. Coming back on short preparation to play a tough Maryland, a physical Maryland team, they responded in a very big way to give Loyola our first national championship.
Questions for our student athletes?
Eric, pretty hot. How do you explain the last couple games?
I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I just got hot at the right time. I knew going in the tournament, my shot was a little off. Kept missing the cage, so I know I just wanted to shoot for net. But I mean, I just have to give credit to all the other guys on the offense. I mean, the middies, from Davis Butts, all the way to Pat Burns and Chris Lane, all those guys. They're just dodging hard all weekend and drawing slides and getting me the opportunities I had. And then Mike Sawyer just drawing all that attention on his side of the field. So when I had the opportunity to shoot and score, I just wanted to make sure I made it count.
And for you and Scott, what does this mean for you guys, for your coach, knowing that what he's been through and that what Loyola means to him?
I mean, this is unbelievable just for Coach. I mean, everybody. Just like Coach said, for the alumni, and from him, I mean, playing in a national championship and losing, and then coming here with this team and all these guys. I mean, this locker room, we knew what we had in our locker room for the whole year. So it's just been an unbelievable journey, and I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing it with anybody else besides Coach Toomey.
Yeah, I completely agree. We talk a lot about, returning this program to its glory days, to what it was like when Coach Toomey and Coach Bakeness were playing here. And, he's like a second dad to all of us, and he really sets the tone for the team every game, gets our minds right. And, he was more ready to go than anybody else today. Wouldn't rather play for anybody else.
Did anybody give you an idea as you were approaching the record, or what was the tone on the sideline? What was this, or just kind of
I mean, people were saying stuff about it throughout the game, but I mean, it wasn't a goal. We wanted to win a national championship, and if I had to score however many goals to get that done, I was going to do it. So, I mean, regardless, we won a national championship. So, I mean, that doesn't. I mean, obviously, it means a little something right now, but I mean, the goal was to win a national championship.
Who brought it up to you?
A couple guys on the team, I think, like Pete Bose and Brian Schultz.
Coach Toomey, Scott Rebosi, ESPN.com. If you wouldn't mind, without giving out too many personal details, your relationship with Coach Tillman, and he talked about some holidays spent together and the reciprocal relationship that you guys had, and if it makes it a little more special maybe that it came against him.
Doesn't make it special at all. We talked at the 50-yard line before the game, and it was going to be a bittersweet, game for both of us. With a win, you're so excited, but you also feel for the guy in that other locker room. And I know John's excited for me. He came up and gave me a big hug and said, "I'm so proud that it's you." Again, one of my closest friends in the game of lacrosse, a family friend, and not just a coach's alliance. He's a guy I'll probably be in the car with tomorrow driving to Long Island to start recruiting. Again, he's just a special human being. The way he goes about his business with his program, the way he talks to his athletes. Those kids play awful hard for John. I think you see that on the sidelines. I think you see that, on the field for sure. So We've talked a lot about how we talk to our teams, and we want them to play hard for the coaches. We want them to play hard for the universities. Nobody does it better than John Toomey.
Zach Schoenberg, New York Times. Charlie, you talked about being in the other locker rooms, as a player. How much were you motivated, if at all, by that loss in 1990, coming back here the first time back?
This is a special group of guys, so having the opportunity to go on a road and stay in a room with Coach Vakeness, who is a teammate of mine, we may talk about those things on the bus ride over. We may talk about those things in the rooms on the road. But I think these guys, to a man, would tell you, we don't bring up the '90 team. We don't bring up past history. This is our team, and this is a special group of young men that fought through a lot of things this year to put themselves in this position, and they stood tall on the biggest day.
Jack Jaffe with New England Lacrosse Journal. This is for Jack. Jack, if we went back to the fall, or even to the start of winter practice, and we had said Loyola's going to win a national championship, and oh, by the way, they're going to pull the goalie and put in the backup a couple minutes left in the game, where would you have thought you would have been in that order, and is this sort of beyond your wildest dreams?
It's definitely a dream come true, but honestly, if you had told me that at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have had an answer for you who would have been starting. I think the outcome of this year would have been the same if Bonnie was playing. He's just as good a goalie as I am, and I think credit to him, he pushes me in practice and makes me who I am.
Jeff Shannon in Lacrosse. Jack, talk about the close defense unit that you've been working with. They have been on fire, and I would imagine have helped you play fantastic to the NCAA tournament. That group, especially today, had a great game plan. What's it been like working with those guys and really a top 10 defensive unit this year?
It's been awesome. It's been a dream come true to play with these guys. They give me shots that I want to see. I'm a lot better from on top where I can see shots, where I can save them. So definitely credit to them. They gave me shots I wanted to see, and they played well. They've been playing well for the past 5-6 games, and it's been awesome.
Bruce Lurch from the Boston Herald, for both Jack and Scott Igor. Just statistics-wise, Loyola won 4 face-offs in the last 2 days. Yet you guys did such a great job of getting possessions back anyway. From the defensive perspective, can you talk about the work that you guys did to prevent all those face-offs from going against you?
Well, in the beginning of the game, our game plan wasn't necessarily to win face-offs. I think our game plan was to win the ground ball battle and not hustle Maryland as best we could. So going from there, we weren't really concerned with how JP would do with the X. We knew he was going to battle. He was going to do well. So we have 2 great wings, Scott and Hawk and Davis when they get on the field, and they really poured their hearts out on the field and did a good job scooping up ground balls.
Yeah, I would agree. We've won games this season without winning a lot of face-offs. Look early in the season, the first time we played Denver is the game that jumps out at me, where you're playing a great offense, and I think we won like 4 out of 25 face-offs, and we were still able to get the win. So we knew that wasn't an absolute must for us to win the game. Their face-off guy did a great job, but what is key is to not let those face-off losses turn into quick goals, and that's what we were able to do. JP was able to get in and stop the break. And like Joe Fletcher playing the point and kind of baiting the guy and really not letting him get like a 4-on-3 type break and making him settle into their 6-on-6 offense where we feel like we match up with anybody pretty well.
Last question to ask you this year, I guess. What does it mean to go from where you were at the start of the season, running away into the running team, and how do you all to celebrate the trophy? As a player, what that mean to have that kind of season?
It's special. That's kind of the day that really sticks out in your mind is when that first ranking came out at the beginning of the season, and we all just felt disrespected. We play with each other every day. We see Runk make these saves every day. We see Lusby and Sawyer shoot like that every day, and I think we kind of all knew that we had a special team, and not just because of the talent and the athleticism, but because of how close we were and how much of a family we really are. I mean, these really are my 45 best friends and my brothers. So we definitely felt disrespected, and credit to the coaches for doing that, because that certainly motivated us and kind of something that we kept in the back of our minds all season.
Anything else for the student athletes? Great. If you guys want to head back to the team, we'll, two more questions for Coach here.
Charlie, how special is Eric compared to some of the other guys you've seen over the years as far as shooting and finishing? And rate him with some of the other guys, and can you be specific?
The guys that I think about that have been great shooters at our university would be guys like Gaywa Schindler, Timmy O'Shea, guys like Mark Fry, all guys that could stretch it, all guys that shot with great velocity. And, you know, Eric, and without Gaywa Schindler, you know, having Tim O'Shea on the other side, he probably wouldn't have been as good as he was. So when I look at Eric Lusby, he's very fortunate to have a guy like Michael Sawyer on the other side. And I think that, again, when we're at our best, you know, those guys are able, we're dodging with our middies, they're being unselfish, and they're getting those guys, you know, the ball in spots where they can be successful. And that, in my opinion, was what the 1998 team did very well at Loyola University, and that's what this team did.
Coach, if you could just talk a little bit about the performance of Davis once again today.
Davis is a kid that's blessed with athleticism, and you know we know he's going to draw the pole just about every Saturday, but it doesn't. We're not going to bury Davis on the crease and attack short sticks. We're going to start our offense with Davis, whether or not he's got a pole or a shorty. Davis is just a tough individual, and you know his effort on the field is, you know, every bit of what you see in practice each day. He doesn't take a rep off. He doesn't take a quarter off in a game. And you know, whether or not it's running from defense to offense, which we'll every once in a while ask Davis to take a defensive shift, not so much today. But again, he makes this team, along with some others, the team that we want to be, and that's a team that plays fast and a team that runs. Davis had a heck of a matchup with Bernhard out there, and I thought he handled it with composure.
Actually, too, if I was to follow too, maybe the old kid made a real bigger name for himself this weekend, maybe Josh Hopkins. Had a couple of real obvious.
Two young men from Massachusetts coming home. You know, so proud of Josh because, you know, when the ball hit the ground, we were, with Josh had an IV in his arm last night. He was dehydrated from the day before, so I think he was scared to death because Dr. Howard had just finished with another young man, maybe Scott Ratliff, and he comes over to Josh, and I think his hands were full of blood. He said, "You're next." And Josh is like, "Oh my gosh, what is this about?" Josh dug in for us like nobody's business today. When the ball hit the ground on the offensive end, I just kept looking to the sideline and knowing, and he kept looking at me like, I'm ready. Tremendous athlete, but more than that, just a tremendous kid. I'm so proud of Josh, you know, to play his biggest games on this type of stage because he missed the first 4 games of the season with injury, and I think that, you know, maybe with 4 more games under his belt, he could have even been a little bit better. But luckily, we got a couple guys coming back, and Josh is one of them.
We'll take one more for Coach. Right down front here.
Considering the circumstances, greatest defensive game you've ever been a part of? 3 goals, 40 minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A team win. You know, whether or not they were in a man or in zone, they protected each other. You know, when, like I said, there was a letdown. Jack Runkel stood as tall as I've ever seen him. They took care of, you know, clearing the ball first time and getting it back to our offense. And I thought that our offensive game plan was terrific by Coach Shimani because he took some pressure off of the defense when we needed to. You know, we didn't play as fast in some cases as we usually do. We knew it was hot. We knew that, you know, we had short sticks that were facing a little adversity from playing a game on Saturday. And I thought that Coach Shimani helped us with our defensive game plan the way we played offense today.
Thank you very much, Coach.